Hello and welcome back to From the Press Box. And it's getting very close to the end of the season. We're at the business end, and thankfully, we've got somebody who actually knows what he's talking about with us on the show this week. It's Simon Parker from the Telegraph and Argus. He has been covering Bradford City for a long time, longer than we care to mention, mate.
Indeed, yeah. I had a full head of hair and a mullet when I started, but yeah, so it's not just playoff tensions causing this slick look.
You and me both, mate. We go to the same barbers. It's fair. It's fair. Big game atmosphere this week. Loads of fans in. I know definitely the away end is full. Hearing it's going to be quite a day.
Yeah, I mean, well over 20,000 there, which anyone who knows Valley Parade, the capacity is about 24, so it's going to be not far off that. I wouldn't have thought it's going to be belting in it. I mean, when the fixtures came out, you looked at it and thought, "Oof, what a final home game for Bradford." But then, of course, there was a scenario. Well, at the time we thought, well, Bolton will probably be up by then. We'll be mid-table, and it'll be one of those sort of nice games. But bearing in mind where it is now, the stakes couldn't be higher. Neither side's there yet, getting close, but not there yet. So yeah, it's all set up for a fantastic occasion.
I mean, I remember us talking before the home game at Bolton, but Bradford made such a good start, and we were asking, can it be sustained? And it has been sustained. I mean, it's not exactly pinch me because you always want to take that momentum, don't you, and make sure it counts in that next season. But he's done a fantastic job, Graham Alexander.
Oh, exactly. I mean, this time last year, if we go back, they were playing Donny this weekend. Donny won it to go up. City had a player sent off at half time for losing it with the ref, and basically it looked doom and gloom. And League Two playoffs, here we come. So it's amazing what they've done in 12 months. I mean, this season itself, yeah, as you say, at the start was ridiculous. I mean, 23 points from the first 10 games was, it was some ride. They came shooting out the blocks. Obviously, they could never keep that up. But the fact they've stayed there, there's been difficult moments. The away form, I mean, they lost 7 and 8 away games literally from the new year. I mean, up to the new year, they lost a couple away, and the away form suddenly tailed off. But the home form has stayed unbelievably strong, barring the occasional hiccup, which you're going to get. And they've not been out the top 6 since, I think, game 3 of the season, which is, middle of August, which is a phenomenal record. And the fact that there's expectation locally now, which it should be because they've been up there that long, but the fact there is that expectation is really sort of huge credit to the team, from where they've come from.
No, absolutely, and that's the thing. Really, it's the same with Bolton in that the way to the fan base, because there's so many there, you get that expectation naturally. And even when you, like you say, being competing in the top 6, even those little ripples of form, even those little runs away from home or something, they get felt so much more. You get the moaning and groaning started, and the bigger picture is what an incredible season it's been so far.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've actually got 2 home games without a win, which is seen as a bit of a mini crisis at the moment. I mean,
it's a stumble. It's a stumble.
It is. Well, Stevenage came and did a job, literally with one shot, and Plymouth midweek was a proper game. I mean, Plymouth felt like a playoff of a playoff. I called it. It was literally a warm up for because obviously Plymouth are 6 points behind. They're desperate to break in, and they're after Lincoln, the form team in the league this year. So it was a huge occasion, and they went toe to toe, and it was it was a great game. They came from behind early as well, Bradford City, which again showed a bit of character because they conceded a very cheap one late on at Barnsley last week. So they came through it. I think home form is very strong, and there's a sort of sense about the home crowd. I mean, you've been Valley Parade over the years where the expectation's always there, even if the team isn't, and of course that just piles the pressure on when things aren't going. But one thing Graham Alexander has done unbelievably in the last 2 years is turn the home form into one of the best, probably one of the best in the EFL. I think they were 3rd best last year, and they're up there again this year. It's been phenomenal. I think 55 points from home last year, and I think it's currently about 45, 46 this year. Which is it lives up to the surroundings, as he's always said. We've got this great ground, this great crowd, but you want people to come in and know it's going to be a tough game because they're a good team, not just because there's a few people in here, sort of thing. So that's one thing they've really have achieved.
Yeah, definitely. Every time I watch Bradford this season, you just know you're going to be in a game. I think Tom Cleverley said before the Plymouth game, the most aggressive, competitive team in the division. And I would totally agree with that because, Bradford, you know, may not have invested in superstar players at this level, although there has been some investment there. But the team as a whole has really, you know, come all the way through with Alexander, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's been quite hard-nosed recruitment. I mean, you know, if you're being picky, you could look at this January's window, and there are big question marks about the loan players they brought in, which haven't really had the impact you'd hope. But you know, but the permanent recruitment, I mean, the summer recruitment, both seasons has been excellent. I mean, the model he likes to go for is people who've won before and know what it takes at the level. You know, so this summer, obviously, Max Power being a case in point as the captain, he signed him. People like Curtis Tilt, Stephen Humphreys, players who've won the level at that, you know what to succeed at League One, and he did the same in League Two. Obviously, he got your man Sars straight in, you know, and people like that. You know, he had that know-how, because he says, because half the thing with playing for Bradford City is you've got to, you know, there is, as you mentioned earlier, there is a permanent pressure. Same with Bolton, because of the size of the club where it is. There's that pressure, full stop. And you've got to be able to handle that. And you'll have seen players, I've seen, you know, countless players who might be very good elsewhere and go on to other clubs and play well. But for some reason or other, it doesn't happen when they're a Bradford City player. And sometimes that hype and that bubble around them just gets too much. And obviously getting players who've been up there, know the pressure, know the expectation, you know, it's half the battle.
Yeah, definitely. And you seem to have collected players, I think, that also rub Bolton up the wrong way. I mean, Stephen Humphreys. I could write chapters on what Stephen Humphreys has done to Bolton down the years, but certainly Sars, since he left, he's got a needle about him, like you say, Curtis, tell people like that. Yeah, it's they're good players. They're ones you want in the trenches with you. And actually, when it comes to the playoffs, that's what you need really. It's the mentality as much as it is the sort of technicalities.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why when they basically ballsed it at Barnsley last week against 10 men, conceding in the 96th minute, having got themselves from behind to lead. You know, Alexander was absolutely spitting feathers afterwards, and the dressing room was ringing, and it was understandable, because, as he said, there's thousands of games in that dressing room. You know, so what the hell were they doing? Basically, just, you know, they thought the game was won. There was that a complacency slipped in, which is never usually evident, and it you know, smacked them up the bottom quite hard. So I think, you know, as you say, you learn from that, and come these sort of games, yeah, these are the sort of players. You know, it may not always be pretty. You know, some people will say, "Oh, Bradford are very direct, put a lot of crosses in, put you under pressure. You know, they close you down." But it's effective, and you know, there's players who've done that for many years and been at the right end of the table most times.
Yeah, I do think there is a general blueprint to get out of League One, and I think that ticks a lot of the boxes. In as much as there have been teams that have played their way out, but only because if they've invested absolute fortunes. And I think the way that Lincoln have played at the top just shows you kind of that's the way to get out. There is another way, and Bolton have obviously dallied with that over the years. But I think that Bradford are definitely, you know, they're on that sort of that path, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, Lincoln are the best team I've seen this season. I mean, at Sincil Bank it was 3-0, and it could have been 6 or 7. You know, they were super. They sort of mop everything up, and then they sort of zoomed out. You know, and there just seemed to be players everywhere as they broke. You know, and they just absolutely mauled. But it's probably the only time that this team have been taken apart this season, which, again, you know, 44 games down the line is a huge credit for a team that, you know, for the previous 6 seasons have been scuffing around in League Two.
Yeah, absolutely. Who would you say then, if Bolton fans haven't been acquainted with Bradford this season, who's been the most important players to you this season?
You know, there's been a few, to be honest. It has been a team effort. You know, I mean, Sars, obviously, you know, he's the big. I think the manager always says he's a big game man. You know, he's the big moments. You know, he still claims he got the goal that got him promoted. You know, that's but he's always there, and you want him out there in these big games. I mean, you know, the fact that he missed Tuesday with an injury was always a bit of a concern. You know, because those sort of players. I mean, Bobby Poynton, another one who missed Tuesday. You know, he's doubtful for the weekend. I mean, he's obviously the local lad, one of our own, former City season ticket holder from the COP. You know, so he's living the dream, and he's had that pressure from day one, and he just goes out and plays like he's playing down the park. And again, this is his first season in League One. He's got 10 goals. You know, he's been excellent. He really has made the step up. But there's a lot of, you know, it's almost been an interchangeable side. I mean, the back three changes almost every week, but they play a very strict same way, and you almost don't notice. You know, so there's people like Ibo Toure who go under the radar, but they're just 7 out of 10 every week. And as you said earlier, there's no superstars in this team. There's no 20 goal scorer. It's not, Andy Cook FC as it might have been in previous years. There isn't someone who you sort of think if he doesn't score, play well, they don't win. It's been a team effort, and I think that's why they've maintained, that consistency pretty much from the start.
And we went to Port Vale a few weeks back, and I think we've only just stopped talking about the pitch now. Are we going to be talking about the pitch on Saturday? Because I watched a bit of the Plymouth game, and some of those patches were worrying me.
No. Before we start, by the way, at Plymouth, did you see my charger? Because it seemed to have disappeared. I've never found it again.
Mate, honestly, the number of them I have been through, the stuff I've lost down the back of the desk at Mansfield, where you need super long arms like Mr. Tickle to do your typing.
No, the pitch. I mean, the pitch has been fine, to be honest. I mean, it suffered a little bit. I mean, obviously, it's not the notorious pitch of years gone by. It's had money put into it, and it'll need money put into it again this summer. But it's hung on. It had a spell early in the new year, when it basically never stopped raining, which I know in Bradford you could pretty much say, November to March. But there was a spell, when it was extremely wet, and it like everywhere it was suffering. But compared to Port Vale, it's like Buckingham Palace. It's not an issue. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I mean, to be fair, you've got to find a way of doing it anyway, and Bolton just didn't at Port Vale. I don't know what the pitch was like when you guys went there, but it was like the surface of the moon. Football on there is rough as. But either way, I mean, it's going to be competitive. It's going to be close. In an ideal scenario, does it end up a draw and both teams would then be able to turn their attention to the playoffs?
The problem with City is if they get a draw, they technically need 2 points, because they get a draw. Right. Luton are the fly in the ointment. Having sort of basically pizzled away millions on wages and what have you this season, they decided to suddenly turn up sort of mid-March, and obviously they're on a great. They're probably the form team currently of the pack, and they're I think they're 5 behind in 7th with 2 to play, but a better goal difference by I think 4. So obviously, if you get a draw and a defeat, and they get 2 wins, and Luton get above you, so City can't get in with a draw this weekend unless Luton don't beat Barnsley. And to be honest, I'd be very surprised if they don't. But strange things happen. But yeah, so officially they need 2 points. I mean, I think a draw this weekend wouldn't be the worst. Although final week, City go to Exeter, which isn't sort of the gimme that you'd hope it would be, bearing in mind where Exeter are. So it's not the sort of game you really want to go into needing something.
Yeah. I'm sure you'll find a luxury hotel put up on NewsQuest expenses for Exeter.
I have the same B&B I went to for an FA Cup side 5 years ago, which then got scrubbed. It was a replay, got scrubbed because the ref allowed Exeter to put 6 subs on by mistake. And then they decided to replay the replay back at Exeter 2 weeks later, which was nice. And actually stayed in the same B&B and the same room. And she said, room 4, you'll know where that is, won't you? I said, yeah, thank you very much. So it was like, so I thought for old time's sake, I thought I'd go back there. So see if it's.
And he's still moaning about it 5 years later. Absolutely amazing.
Oh, yes. Just ask the family. It's on one of it's the common grumbles list.
Listen, there is also a big thing happening before the game as well, Simon, which happens at last home game, or the last regular season home game of every year at Bradford, in memorial for the fire. Is that right?
Yes, yeah. Obviously, it's 41 years this year since the disaster in 1985 when 56 people died because of the fire. Bradford City Lincoln, last game of the season, when Bradford won the 3rd division, and it was meant to be obviously a day of celebration, and it turned into a horrendous event. And every year, the final home game, there's a memorial for it, because obviously it's the closest home game to May the 11th when it happened. And there'll be a minute's silence, and the players will come out to "You'll Never Walk Alone." And what tends to happen is the captains bring out lay wreaths in the centre circle, and it's very respectfully done. It's been done every year. I mean, obviously there's the service on the actual day in Bradford in the city centre. But this event is another one because it continues to affect a lot of people who are either there, know people were there, or it's always got that feel over the community. So it's a very, very sensitive event before the game.
Yeah, well, I know Bolton Wanderers fans will definitely be on their best behaviour. We obviously had the Burnley disaster as well, which we do mark every year. So I think it's a common touching point between the two clubs. So yes, best behaviours, folks, and I'm sure everything will go fantastically. It's going to be a really good game. I just get the feeling it has, like you said before, with that Plymouth game, it's got a playoff feeling about it, even though it's not the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And I've got a funny feeling, mate, that we may well be doing this in a couple of weeks' time, talking about a semi-final. Or even, wouldn't it be good? And use Quest Derby at Wembley. I wouldn't
I think we should go out with a ceremonial coin toss before the game, shouldn't we?
Yeah, I'm going to get myself a special suit just with like the Bolton News headlines just emblazoned all over it.
Well, I'm sure when they get that News Quest single room, I'll have the top bunk anyway, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Don't joke about it because they're listening, Simon. They're listening. Yeah. Anyway, mate, I shall see you on Saturday, and thank you very much for joining in with From the Press Box.
Indeed. Been a pleasure, Mark.
Excellent, mate. Cheers.